Hey. Okay. What day is it? Tuesday? Wish it was Friday, honestly. All right. It's snowing. I know I live in Colorado. It hasn't even been a bad winter, but it kind of gets to January, February. I'm like, over it. Anyway, all right. Lauren says, how to help a close friend with anorexia. They're deteriorating physically fast. As they're an adult, they can't be forced to get help. I think that they can. I don't think they can continue like this. What can I do? It's the golden question, isn't it? If somebody does not want to receive help from their eating disorder, I just think you're absolutely right. You can't force them to. It's horrible. It's a horrible, horrible situation. I speak to a lot of parents in this situation. They've got an adult child that has an eating disorder and usually has had an eating disorder for a long time. And they just are like, what can we do to get them to want to recover? And I have to be like, it's just shitty. It's like my worst part of my job, honestly, because it's so devastating for people that are family, loved ones, or a person with an eating disorder that doesn't want to get better. And you're right. You just have to watch that shit happen. The only thing that you can do is probably what you're already doing, encouraging recovery to the best of your ability. But I do think that you need to sort of see if you can do it with some degree of detachment. So never give up saying you should eat more, you should gain weight, you should do recovery. Never give up saying that stuff, but try and protect yourself emotionally, because the reality is if somebody doesn't want to recover, you can be saying that every moment of the day and nothing will change. Dave is on one this morning. I don't know what kind of bug she's got up her ass, but anyway, Dave seems to be quite happy today, as opposed to grumpy old me. Okay, another question. Hi Tabitha, I've been in recovery for 1 year. At the beginning of recovery with gaining weight, my sex drive appeared. However, my higher weight has disappeared again. What's happening? So recovery is a bit like puberty in terms of what happens to our hormones, because if you think about it, they're shut off and then you eat more and they probably start to spike up and then they're just trying to work themselves out. It's a bit like, in many ways, it's like an orchestra tuning up. And so that stuff's just going to fluctuate. It's going to go up and down, a bit like Dave, for a little while. And then it can take a while, though. I think it took a couple of years, really, for mine to completely sort of just level themselves out. And so enjoy the ride. It's pretty much what you can do. Keep eating, enjoy the ride. All right. If Evan Evanescence for Forever 100. I don't know what that username is, but what exactly do you mean by rewiring? Responding to mental hunger, doing the opposite of what your brain is telling you? I wrote a whole book on it. 1 whole book on neural rewiring, and then if you think about rehabilitate, rewire, recover, it's like half of that's about neural rewiring. So, but basically, neural rewiring is changing the established neural pathways in your brain, and what that means is that's changing all of the behaviors that feel habitual, normal, even changing the way that your brain thinks, the thought patterns, and fundamentally at the core of neural rewiring, it is changing belief systems. And the 2 major belief systems, which, by the way, I've got a book coming out on this, but the reason that's okay. So the book's been done for like 8 months, but I'm waiting for my sister to draw the bloody front cover because she's an artist. And I'm like, will you draw it? And she keeps on saying yes. And then she just keeps on not doing it. I mean, she has had a baby recently, so whatever, I guess she's busy, but that's why it's taken so long. But anyway, and I have written a book specifically on the belief systems that you have to change in order to do neural rewiring. And those belief systems are the belief that weight gain is a threat to you, aka fear of weight gain. That's the biggest, most major one. In order to fully recover, you have to teach your brain that weight gain is not a threat to you. It's kind of a big deal, isn't it? And the way that we teach our brain that anything that our brains are afraid of, the way that we rewire that, the way that we teach our brain not to be afraid of something that we're afraid of is by, guess what? Doing that thing over and over and over and over and over again until the brain is no longer afraid of it. And so when we are rewiring fear of weight gain, guess what you got to do? You've got to do the things that you're afraid of. You've got to, every single sort of action and reaction that you have that is a fear-based, fear of weight gain-based action or reaction, restriction, purging, compulsive movement, it all has to stop because you have to act as if you're not afraid of weight gain. And that means you can't do anything that is acting as if you are afraid of weight gain. And that is the biggest problem that most people in recovery have to solve. All right. So, Marie says, would your opinion be different if you were more fat than you are now? No. My opinion, honestly, is based on biology and the whole experience of recovery from a very mental point of view, not a physical point of view. I honestly, like, body weight when it comes to eating disorder recovery is just such a small part of recovery. Like, the neural rewiring is the big part of recovery. That is what full recovery consists of. And so it doesn't make any difference. Like, you can't teach your brain not to be afraid of weight gain if you're still acting as if you're afraid of weight gain, whatever your weight is. Like, the weight is completely irrelevant to neural rewiring. Girl Almighty says, how did you deal with bad body image days? All right, so explain this in the book as well. Negative body image is a product of fear of weight gain, that belief system that I just talked about. Because when your brain is afraid of something, it's your brain's job to keep you away from that thing. And the brain does that by using emotion. And so if the brain is afraid of weight gain, it's your brain's job to keep you away from anything that could lead to weight gain. And also, if your brain sees that you've gained weight and your brain believes that weight gain is a threat to you, your brain's job is to try and make you want to lose weight. Guess what that is? That's negative body image. That is your brain generating negative feelings about your body. You should try and lose weight because your brain is afraid of weight gain. Dave! Bloody hell. What is up her butt today? Anyway, what was the question? I was talking about fear of weight gain. Oh, negative body image. So the way, negative body image is always going to be there whilst you still have fear of weight gain, because negative body image is a product of the belief that weight gain is a threat to you. So she's jumping up and clawing my elbow, little witch. So the way to sustainably, long-term, get rid of negative body image is to rewire fear of weight gain, to teach your brain that weight gain is not a threat to you. Because when your brain no longer believes that weight gain is a threat to you, it no longer has to try and keep you away from weight gain, does it? And so therefore, it has no reason to make you feel negative about any weight that you've gained. Make sense? I hope so, because it's actually really important that you understand this shit. Anyway, like I said, I've written about this a lot. I've talked about it a lot in other videos as well. So if I didn't explain that well just then, I will have explained it better somewhere else. It's difficult to explain something well when your cat is attacking you. All right. So Girl Almighty says, how do you deal with the guilt of doing horrible things because of your eating disorder? I know, it's shit, isn't it? I don't know. I wasn't a nice person when I had an eating disorder. I don't know why anybody put up with me. It wasn't fun. I didn't really have a sense of humor. Well, actually, I probably did still have a bit of a sense of humor, but I wasn't very fun. You couldn't do anything with me. I had to, like, every single moment of my day have my little agenda. So it's like, couldn't do anything with me. I wouldn't even stop to talk to people to give them time of day. I was hangry the whole time, which means I was really, really, really irritable the whole time and kind of angry all of the time as well. And if anything happened to shift my daily routine, I was just vile and a freak out. So I really don't know why anybody put up with me at all. And I've often spoken about things like kleptomania. So I'd go into grocery stores and steal packets of risotto and shit like that, which is not a very nice character trait, is it? What else? Horrible things. Missed my best friend's wedding. Couldn't go to a wedding because I wanted to go to a spin class instead. What kind of person does that? Or, like talk about, weddings, birthdays, any special events that my friends or family had. Basically, I was absent. Or if I was there, I was pissed off that I was there because it had interrupted my routine. And so therefore I would take it out on them by being mean and bitchy and all of that stuff for 10 years. But you know what all you can do is recover. And then when you recover, most of us actually turn into pretty decent people. So you just got to move forward, haven't you? There's no point in dwelling on it. And certainly in recovery, I talk about the mid-recovery clusterfuck. That's a large part of that, because when you're in your eating disorder, you don't care that you're being a selfish bitch. But then when you start to come out of your eating disorder, you start to realize what a selfish bitch you've been. And you're like, whoa, God, that was really mean. And you start to feel really bad about it. Like, I went through this whole thing, like, I can't believe that I missed my best friend's wedding. Like, what kind of person does that? What kind of person am I? All of that stuff. And I was really sad about it, because I was like, that looked like fun. They will look like, you see the pictures on Facebook and you're like, they were having such fun. Why wasn't I there? Massive like FOMO from the past. So you go through all of that. And I think that's fine. I actually think that's an important part of moving through recovery, is actually developing feelings again. And so, yeah, you feel a bit sad, and then you'll accept it. But the best part is you stop feeling sad, because you start actually being a nice, fun, friendly person who doesn't steal risotto from Tesco and who doesn't be mean and bitchy to people just because they looked at you the wrong way. And you start to like yourself. Like, you start to be like, oh, I'm all right, actually. And so I think that really helps, honestly. I think that's the biggest thing that helps. I actually started to really quite like myself. I'm like, I would hang out with me. And so you forgive yourself then when you start to like yourself. And also you do, I think, when you see such a difference biologically, that biological difference of not being in energy deficit and all of those things that makes, you can forgive yourself for all of that, because you can just think, well, I was pretty fucked up back then. I wasn't myself, How could I have been myself? My body had no energy. It didn't have any fuel to keep itself going. Of course it was irritable. And so you just have to that's having compassion. That's what that is. You have to have compassion for yourself. Like, especially compassion for your body. Like, it just functioned for such a long time on next to nothing. And so, of course, it was irritable. I don't blame it for that at all. And then you just think, well, I can't blame myself for that at all. So it's a work through. It's a process that I think that most of us work through, but it's greatly helped by the fact that as you start to recover, you just do start to be a much nicer person. And so therefore you can be more forgiving of yourself because you like yourself more. And that's really important in recovery. It's really important in life, actually, I think, to just like who you are. Life's pretty miserable when you don't like who you are, isn't it? People are pretty miserable when they don't like who they are. And most of us, it's hard for us to like who we are because we have an eating disorder, because we're just not very fun, nice people. Of course we're not, because we're not eating enough damn food. It doesn't say anything about you as a person. It doesn't mean that you are not a fun, nice person. It just means that you're starving. Any animal or any mammal, when it's starving, is not nice. And so it all has to be taken into account. And just look forward to that. If you're in that space now where you're like, don't really like myself, just look forward to that, because it's really nice to like yourself. And it's really nice to be a person that is fun and happy and has a sense of humor and all of that stuff. And so that's something to look forward to. That's like the whole point, honestly, of recovery, is having a life, being a person that's likable. And most of all, the whole point is you just got to be having fun. Like, what is the point in life if you're not having any fun? Like, seriously, you've got to be having fun. Allow that to be your motivation, because I've got a client in 2 minutes, so I've got to go. So sorry about all those other questions, but I'll be back again sometime soon. You've just got to be having fun in life. You really have to. And if you're not right now, that it has to change, and recovery is going to be that change for you. All right, now me and Crazy Dave are going to go.